You're on a retro trek with the Caramel Apples, a podcast that brings you a retro vibe, both crunchy and sweet. This week, we're going to deep dive into a most memorable, zany throwback American variety show cartoon made especially for youth that will absolutely cause us to gush with nostalgic excitement. Remember the banana splits? What is yellow, delicious, and manages a baseball team? Yogi Banana! With your host Kennedy Rizzo and Cooper Lee. Hello, Orchard Archivers, and thank you for taking the time to journey back with us this week. And if you're new to the show, we're so glad you're here, and we're confident that the reason why you're here is due to your amazing interest and passion of all things retro nostalgia, especially in the realm of pop culture. Don't forget to take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave us a 5-star written review, or stop by and give us a shout out on X, the Gram, and TikTok. We so appreciate your warm support. Okay, so this week we have an exciting bit of old school nostalgia to take your caramelicious ears back to.
That's right, Kennedy. The Banana Splits are a fictional rock band that is composed of 4 costumed animal characters and red marching band hats with yellow plumes. The Henri Buggers were simply adorable. And who's wearing this interesting getup? None other than the costume host of the show. We'll get to them here in a second.
That's right, Coop. Now we have to put this brief and important disclaimer out there to our dear Orchard Archivers so that we can potentially clear some things up. Okay, so didn't really know anything about banana splits. Coop, she's a little younger than I am by a couple years, so we weren't really hardcore fans of the banana splits. How we came about knowing them is actually we worked with older guys, and I think they're boomers at my previous job. And they're always goofing off, talking about trivia, pop culture, just all kinds of things. It was a good time working with them. But like they kept talking about something banana splits, and it come up a couple times. And it was like, what, they want ice cream or something? Like, boy, I keep hearing that, but I was just kind of loosely in the conversation, not really.
No
and
connecting
then they were like,
dots.
trying to. They were like, something about, they start singing the song, the theme song. And I was like, so what's this banana splits business you guys are talking about? You ain't heard the banana splits? Apparently not. Explain.
Right.
So they gave me a rundown of what it was, and they said, just go on the internet and see if you can find some clips of them. They're crazy. I was like, all right, I'll give myself homework. I'll do that. Coop. So I come home and did that, and the moment I saw these goofy characters, I was in love. I was like, I get it. They are so much fun. So I'm so glad that we're dedicating our Orchard Trek Retro to it because, even though it was a new discovery for us, there are fans of this show, and hopefully we can help bring back some of their warm memories as hardcore fans of the banana split. So I don't know, just based on what we were personally formally introduced to with these nutty characters, regardless. We promise that this will be a warm, nostalgic throwback episode this week because the banana splits introduced a lot of nostalgia for so many kids at that time. Also included in the banana splits is a key great collection of old school nostalgic cartoons embedded in the center of their show offerings that came right into play at the beginning cusp of our designated decade parameters.
I agree, Kennedy. It's so nice that you can actually strike a chord with others, maybe that we don't necessarily know about, but it's cool. That time period really does embrace a lot of ages, a lot of age range.
Yes.
And like you said, they were just sitting there talking about their childhood memories. Yeah, it didn't resonate with you, but there's a lot of listeners that this will resonate with. So it is cool. And like you said, once you saw them, you were like, ah, I know why. So totally. I love the idea. You know, you were quite intrigued by this bizarre concept, that of the banana splits, weren't you?
Oh my goodness, yes, that's hashtag facts. Their level of crazy is right up my alley.
You know, and I remember you coming home from work one day, you know, and talking about them and such. And I'm like, who?
Yeah, you did it too.
Yes, completely. You know, a ton of question marks. But thank goodness for social media where one can, you know, go back and just about anything and quickly experience what fun was abundant and available.
Yeah, we had to do that. Thank goodness for social media because I mean we stumbled on so much, due to
Truly,
that. So that
truly,
has been
yes.
very invaluable. So again, the Banana Splits was an American television youth-focused variety show produced by Hanna-Barbera Productions. Very kid-like, right?
Yes.
And their key featured focus was actually these banana split characters. What we have here was pure, unadulterated, unhinged fun. The series ran for 36 episodes on NBC Saturday mornings from September 7th, 1968 to September 5th, 1970.
Mm.
So, just right there, Coop and I, that's our disclaimer. Like, this was out before we were even thought of.
Right.
So, we couldn't have been hardcore fans if we weren't around.
That's right.
But then the Banana Splits was in syndication as well, and that was from 1970 to 1982. So we popped up in those little time parameters there. So now we're on the map.
That's right. So, the Banana Splits again was a cute pop group consisting of four anthropomorphic animals. They host a variety of cartoons, songs, and entertaining skits. And these ornery costumed hosts of the show are as follows. Fun fact, we have Fleagle, he was on guitar and vocals. Bingo, this is drums and vocals. Drooper, bass and vocals. And the ever adorable Snorky, keyboard and effects. Its official tagline states that their show is a mess of fun for everyone. These guys were a hot mess.
Oh my God, yes, they were. They're so cute. Since this offering was their namesake show, the Banana Split show readily featured the band as love action, lovable costume characters who did their due diligence in hosting both live action segments as well as highly anticipated animated sequences embedded within their program.
Hashtag facts. So, with that, fun fact number one. Did you know that the Banana Splits costumes were constructed by Sid and Marty Krofft, based on the design by Hanna-Barbera artists? And this right here is cool. Totally warm connected to this period of time in history, because did you realize that the series sponsor was actually Kellogg's cereal?
Oh, that's neat.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this was right in the height of study focus targeting various markets, if you will, for children.
Yeah.
Um, they're, the cool characters, cartoons, cereal, and on, hand in glove. It was really a child's immersive world back then.
It certainly was, Kennard.
Yeah.
Okay, get this. Fun fact number two.
Ooh.
Also in the year of 1967, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera approached Sid and Marty Krofft in order to craft the tailored Banana Splits costumes for a television show featuring animated as well as live action segments, hosted by none other than a bubblegum rock group of anthropomorphic characters.
I know that word is crazy, isn't it?
It is.
Man, I don't think our younger brother would like these characters. We know why. That's just another story.
That is totally another story. And he'll probably be like, why did you guys do a show entirely dedicated to mascots? And I can't even listen to it now. We're like, you're welcome.
That's right.
So, fun fact number 3. We had mentioned this next reference in yet another Orchard Trek retro, that of Hee Haw. So go back and check out that zaniness if there ever was. But fun fact, the Banana Splits format was loosely based on an extremely ancient retro offering called Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, in which these characters right here later made a cameo appearance on an episode of the Banana Split. So, cool.
So that is cool. Get this. On the flip side of the coin, the Banana Split show format of fast-paced blackout gags was loosely based on the retro show that you just talked about there, Coop, that of Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In.
Yeah, so fun fact. The Banana Splits later appeared as guests on Laugh-In on November 18, 1968.
Ooh, that is going back a couple years.
Yeah.
Joseph Barbera mentioned in his autobiography that the show was originally going to be called The Banana Bunch, but permission and copyright restrictions were in place and could not be obtained by the author of a certain children's book by the same title.
That would have been cute too. Very interesting.
I know. So the Banana Splits Adventure Hour premiered on the NBC network on September 7th, 1968. And their contagious fanfare became ever-present very soon after that.
So, on that note, fun fact, the Croft brothers, that being Sid and Marty Croft, who were instrumental in building the adorable costumes for the Banana Split characters, credit the series for making possible their own entry into television. The children's series entitled H.R. Pufnstuf. The NBC network picked up the Croft Brothers series, which was launched on August 30th, 1969, almost the year after the introduction of the Banana Splits Adventure Hour, during an hour-long special hosted by none other than the Banana Splits.
Each show represented a meeting of the Banana Splits Club. The wraparound featured the adventures of the club members, a musical quartet meant to be reminiscent of the ever-popular group of the 60s, the Monkees. Yeah, that just was not our era.
No.
The Banana Split segments including songs of the week and comedy, skits, and served as wraparounds for a number of individual segments.
Oh, God. The show's... The show's live-action segment, Danger Island, a cliffhanger serial-vict within, as well as the short-lived Micro Ventures, a part live-action, part animated series, consisted of only 4 episodes, and ran alongside the animated segments, Arabian Nights, along with the Three Musketeers. Fun fact, actors Jan Michael Vincent, billed as Michael Vincent of Airwolf, White Line Fever fame, and Ronnie Trope appeared in the live-action component of Danger Island. All the live-action material filmed for the series' first season included the Banana Splits and Danger Island segments. Truly was a fascinating offering directed by the legendary director Richard Donner of Superman fame. Yeah.
That's a name right there. That's legendary, as you said.
Sure.
Man, Coop, that's some very interesting fun facts you just enlightened us with there. So thanks for that.
Sure thing.
All right, so continuing on and developing more intriguing backstory on our chosen caramel topic discussion this week, We already stated how the Banana Splits presentation easily and quickly drew young audiences in at the time. They were so cute and versatile. It really isn't hard to see why they were a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for that first season, it's also noted that some of the live action segments, specifically those used during the musical segments, were shot at the Six Flags Amusement Park, an amusement park in Arlington, Texas.
That's crazy.
Isn't it though?
Yeah, to even think they've been around that long,
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And we actually are a bit familiar with this area due to having had some family members living in the Fort Worth, Dallas area at the time. So that is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for the second season of the show, filming took place at both the Coney Island and Kings Island amusement parks in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati. So in many of the episodes, the Banana Splits were seen riding the small rides at Six Flags, Coney Island, and Kings Island setups in their opening and ending sequence segments. This is the mindless, easy stuff. Easy laughter and entertainment the Banana Splits dialed up. Orchard Archivers, you can find many of these enjoyable clips on social media, just as we did. We highly encourage you to check out that stuff. Funny, funny stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that filming happened in a couple of key states right here, stateside, that being Texas and Ohio, which fits what I'm about to share in this cool fun fact.
Okay.
Fun fact. If you're even remotely familiar with the adorable opening sequence of the show involving the super cute, super silly antics of the Banana Splits, you may recall seeing something showcased called the Banana Buggy.
Oh my God.
So these buggies mentioned and showcased in the theme song were actually customized vehicles driven by each of the live action characters.
Oh, they've arrived.
I know! They got some ugly wheels. Anyway, the buggies were customized Amphicat 6-wheel drive all-terrain vehicles, and each decorated to resemble the characters who drove it. How cute is that?
That's stinky.
It is. Like you said, they arrived. They had it even customized to them specific. And I know you're all about that, Kennedy.
#facts.
It was also one of the first Saturday morning shows to utilize a laugh track.
Yes, and we heard that just a little bit ago, but that was so big back in the 70s and 80s.
It really was. But only during the live action comedy segments. It is noted, though, that in its first year, the cartoons were adventure-based and did not have laugh tracks.
Okay, that's incredibly intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so loving our caramelicious discussion on the Banana Splits this week, Coop.
I know.
So moving forward, we briefly mentioned at the outset the introduction to our adorable characters, stars of the Banana Splits. So let's do a brief reintroduction of the Banana Split, shall we?
I'm down.
Okay. So we have here first Fleagle. Fleagle was a dog with a lisp and the self-proclaimed leader of the Banana Splits. He was introduced and started out at the very beginning of the show in 1968 through 1972, voiced by Paul Winchell.
Next, we have Stinky Bingo. Bingo was a nasally voiced orange ape with big noticeable teeth.
Yes, he had quite the smile and presence there, didn't he?
And truly. Yes. So wearing huge white sunglasses, completely reminiscent, the said era, and proudly sporting a yellow vest.
Stinky Bingo.
Stinky Bingo. That really should have been part of his name. So Bingo 2 started out and was introduced from the very beginning of the show's inception in 1968 through 1972, and he was voiced by Dolls Butler.
Okay. Next we have Drooper. Very, very entertaining was this southern drawl accented lion sporting a long tail, all the while wearing his super trendy yellowish orange sunglasses. His look straight up reminded me of the Three Blind Mice. Drooper 2 was part of the Banana Split's initial inception from 1968 through 1972. Drooper was voiced by Alan Melvin.
And last but certainly not least, in the Banana Split celebrity lineup in the adorable suite, Snorky. Now, Snorky was an elephant wearing pink sunglasses that sweetly communicates through honking noises. Fun fact, Snorky was originally covered in shaggy fur. He then was redesigned for the second season to more resemble a regular elephant.
Oh.
Yeah. Voiced by James Dubb, Snorky appears the same years as his Henri counterparts from 1968 through 72. And there's also a nice slew of secondary characters that gave life and fun to the cast as well.
Okay. Well, there was something called the Banana Vac. So this is some of the other characters that we are actually, Coop and I are not familiar with, other than seeing like some clips on social media. So we've seen them, but we don't like there. It's not that warm nostalgia of like, oh, there's the Banana Vac. Like we wouldn't really know that unless somebody told us.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
we didn't even know what his name was.
Right.
But we'll go through some of these, so hopefully some of you boomer archivers or ones that did enjoy watching the Banana Splits at that time will be like, hey, I remember him. I remember that. So
that's right. Yeah.
Jump on with us. Okay. So the Banana Vac, he is a blue moose-like head with brown hair or fur with light bulbs on his head.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm telling you, I think that some of these people, this was like back in when everybody was tripping, if you catch my drift.
Right.
So I think that there was a lot of tripping people out there sitting around a creative table putting ideas together after Chinese food. It's just a little weird.
Suspect.
It is very sus. But he hangs over the entrance of the clubhouse, making various references and comments, contributing to the topics for discussion on the show. And 2, it's noted that he often assists the Banana Splits in introducing various segments of the show. The Banana Vac was also voiced by Alan Melvin, who also voice contributed to Drooper.
Interesting, right?
Yes.
So we also have a cockatoo clock, which obviously is a special type of clock that has a blue and yellow bird head embedded inside of it that freely offers snarky answers whenever anyone asks, what time is it? And Cockatoo Clock helped the Banana Splits too in introducing segments.
Okay.
Cockatoo Clock was also voiced by Paul Winchell, who, as we mentioned before, voiced the main character Fleagle. Another interesting character voiced by Paul Winchell was Goofy Golfer, who lived in a flower pot. But Goofy Golfer was actually created for the series' second season. So, fun fact. We also would like to make mention of an unseen narrator who introduced the Banana Splits and various other certain acts showcased on the show. The announcer was voiced by Alan Melvin for the handful of years the Banana Splits was on air. And to refresh our feeble memories, Mr. Melvin voiced main character Drooper, as stated previously.
Oh, okay.
Well, we can see that they're using a lot of the same people, and I think that happens a lot in shows, Obviously, it keeps the cost down from having to hire a bunch of voice actors. But if they have their talent, and they can help, just recycle them because they can change up so much, that's cool.
Yes, very important. And to your point, Coop, we talked about Alan Melvin and Dawes Butler, but Paul Winchell voiced a famous, very famous, familiar character in animated pop culture. And we'll give that answer at the end of our Orchard Trek Retro. But that, Paul Winchell, give it some thought, Orchard Archivers, of who that popular animated character he voiced and we fell in love with. You got to give it some thought. It's pretty
Edge of our
cute.
seats.
That's right. So we have a couple more secondary characters of interest to share with the Orchard Archivers. We have a character introduction of Mildred the Robot. This was an invention of Fleagle's that had the ability to grant wishes.
Hey, it's old Mildred still around?
Right? Yes, we want some 80s Taco Bell. Let's get to it. Mildred the Robot was performed by and credited as Robbie the Robot. Okay, next we have the Dilly Sisters, which consisted of two Latina girls who showcased their talent by playing acoustic classical guitars and sang a couple songs on the show called The Mexican Hat Dance and Ta Ra Ra Boom Die. It is noted that they became such a running gag that the viewer didn't even have to see them.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. One of the banana splits would open the door, and the first line of Ta Ra Ra Boom Die would issue from behind the door.
Oh, okay, got it. A fun fact. The sisters were really real-life sisters, Miriam and Nellie Nunez, who recorded pop songs in their native Mexico from 1965 through 1983. And we can't forget about the Sour Grapes Bunch.
Just love how the banana splits incorporate the many fruit food references therein.
Indeed, Kennedy. So the Sour Grapes Bunch consisted of a group of silent human girl characters who were all oddly enough named Charlie.
Oh.
It's Charlie with an EY. And Charlie was portrayed by actress Sherry Freeman. When as the Banana Splits rival, the Sour Grapes Bunch took turns bringing written notes and delivering those notes to the Banana Splits. Oh. Then they danced one song with one star title character. Fun fact, in the first series of the show, the song Doing the Banana Split had all 5 girls appear alongside with the host. This took place on October 5th, 1968.
Nice. So the Banana Splits was syndicated in 1970 to local stations everywhere and reformatted it as a half-hour show under the title The Banana Splits and Friends Show. The Banana Splits formed a framework for episodes from 3 of Hanna-Barbera's animated series, that being The Adam Ant Show, The Secret Squirrel Show, The Adventures of Gulliver, as well as the live-action The New Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. All of the original Banana Split episodes were included in this package, with Paul Winchell providing new spoken introductions for the added elements of the series.
Okay. So, fun fact, the Banana Splits theme song, the Tra-La-La song, One Banana, Two Banana, was accredited to Richie Adams and Mark Barkin, but it is noted that the segment of work was purely contractual. It was actually written by Nelson B. Wrinkles Jr. on an upright piano in his living room, a piano, the same piano, that brought forth the Snap, Crackle, Pop jingle for a certain kid cereal back then.
Oh, wow.
Remember? Yeah. They were sponsored by Kellogg'S.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. The Banana Splits single theme song, the Tra-La-La song, One Banana, Two Banana, attributed to the Banana Splits peaking at, get this, Coop, number 96 on the Billboard Top 100.
What?
It is. This happened in February of 1969.
Oh my.
The Banana Splits adventure also continued on in comic books. A company called Gold Key began publishing a comic version of these adorably ornery guys in 1969. There was a grand release of 8 issues up until 1971, drawn by the talented Jack Manning. The stories and adventures followed the characters' musicians, either trying to find work or on the road between gigs. So I bet that this was a cute read or discovery for the fans.
Absolutely. That sounds adorable. And I have to say, for 1969 was nothing else going on that the Banana Splits ranked on the top 100. There was no one else making music. That's cute, though.
Right?
Yeah, what a credit to them. So, a representative of AllMusic gave his opinion about what may have happened during the second season of the Banana Split show. He blamed the show's drastic ratings drop on the production staff's failure to change backgrounds or set designs, which misled young, bright-eyed viewers into thinking that they were watching reruns versus new episodes. And one more thing we'd like to add here before we bring our Orchard Trek Retro to a close is in this fun fact. We all have our vivid imaginations, broad, open, full of wonder concerning the amusing, fun concepts surrounding the Banana Splits.
Oh, yes.
But fun fact, did you realize that recently there was a feature-length comedy horror film adaptation called The Banana Splits Movie, which had a worldwide release on August 13th of 2019. It was presented as an R-rated slasher film.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm sure there were fans of this modern offering of the Banana Splits, but honestly, what an uncomfortable flip-flop of taking something so innocent and throwing it down the toilet. By lazily modernizing what our star characters do or are capable of. Oh my God, insert eye roll here.
Right? Yes. Yeah, way to ruin something, a super cute concept by making it something dumb and, like you said, very modern. Ugh.
Yeah, like people's generational children, or grandkids, how can you even continue on? That just, okay, it hugs.
That straight up sounds like a Gen Z gamer guy type of thing. I don't know. But, thank goodness for our warm retro memories of the Banana Splits.
Sure.
So back to the innocent days of retro concerning the Banana Splits. Which of the main characters were you drawn to or would have potentially considered as a favorite of yours, Cooper Lee? We have Fleagle, Drooper, Bingo, and or Snorky.
I'd say Snorky. Yeah, I mean, I have a thing for elephants anyway.
She does. Aww.
I love them, the babies especially. So I would say Snorky. How about you, Kennedy? Which main character of the Banana Splits did you particularly like?
I would LOL to that stinky Bingo. I totally dug the nutty antics of that Bingo. So Bingo was the OG of his huge teeth, his grill. And he literally didn't even have to say anything for you to start screaming with laughter on how cute and ornery he was. So Bingo's my choice.
Awesome. Well done, Kennedy. I think both of our choices for this week's Orchard Trek Retro on the Banana Splits definitely rates our caramelicious discussion in the high category. So all in all, the Banana Splits worked. I know we're probably in the minority as a late Gen Xer audience for truly being there and remembering this version of entertainment from that era. But now that Now that we've been thankfully introduced to it, we can't help but say great things about it. The banana splits nostalgia of the late 60s, early 70s era with its song references of pop culture at that time.
Yeah, like them being patterned off the big pop rock groups and bands like the Beatles and the Monkees.
Yes, yes. And overall, it carried a true late 60s, early 70s vibe.
hmm
And lastly, it really did offer the nostalgic, warm fun that these types of shows in general encouraged. I'd say it's encouraged the innocent imagination of a young audience of the times.
hmm
The entire cast of the Banana Splits was good. It seemed like everyone was enjoying what was expected of them in the way of entertainment. And we so appreciate the imprint it left for not only fans then, but for future generations to catch and enjoy.
Yeah, the Banana Splits did its due diligence, bringing back happy, innocent memories to many of the youth at that time. Through the decades, the music and the look of what youth focused television shows offered, and how that nostalgia played out on the small screen, it really was something to behold by way of a caramelicious era. If you're not familiar with the Banana Splits or haven't seen any of these retro episodes yet, we highly recommend this one if you go to search on any given social media platform and have an open mind, an imagination, and expect to just be entertained. The Banana Splits is making up a mess of fun, lots of fun for everyone. See you next time.
Love what you heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. To tune into future treks into the Orchard Archives, meet up with us here next week, same time, same place at the Sweet Spot. Be sure to check out our website, www.RetroTrekwithTheCaramelApples.com. See you next week.